The AMG attendance system allows you to pull transactions from time clock devices, edit them, and generate reports or submit to payroll, as well as numerous other features. To begin, the software has a simple configuration wizard that will walk you through setting up the software step by step. Since you host your own database, the software can also use a process to automatically create backups. The main screen of the software has customizable widgets or shortcuts to several sections of the software, such as absences, missing punches, overtime, and tardiness. If you click on one of the options, such as this tardy employee, it will load their time card and highlight the day that they were tardy. This screen can also be accessed from the top menu under Standard Attendance. This screen shows a list of employees on the left and the selected employee's time card on the right. The employee we selected, Raymond, came in at 8:05 a.m. on this day. We can see the start and stop time. We can also see the category. The previous day he used paid time off, so it shows his PTO. I can double-click any cell here to add in regular work time. So if I add a clock out for 5 p.m., it will calculate his regular hours. My system is also set up to automatically deduct 1 hour for lunch. This is something you can set up in the shifts for each group of employees. You can also see if an employee is working in a specific job or department and if a manual change was done to the time card by a user. You can add, edit, or delete transactions for working hours and choose the day, time, device, and type of transaction. You can also see a list of missed punches, so if an employee forgot to clock in or out or they were absent. You can select an employee and click the Go To button, and it will take you to that employee's time card and highlight the day. We can see that Guadalupe was absent for this day with the bright red color. If she was sick, for instance, we can go to the Miscellaneous Entry button at the bottom and add a sick day. We can choose the dates and the category, such as vacation or sick. Then we choose the hours. In this case, we will just fill from her scheduled time. You can also add comments or select other options at the bottom. We can then add this day and we will get a warning that it contains unpaid hours. This is because Guadalupe didn't have sick hours available to deduct from. So the hours will show under the unpaid column in the time card here. We can see a list of miscellaneous entries under the tab at the top here, and if we want to check available hours, we can go to the Benefits tab. AMG can track how many hours for categories like sick and vacation that an employee has. We can see for the sick category this employee had no hours available, but we just subtracted 8 hours, so they are unpaid. For vacation, she has 80 hours available. You can add or edit available benefit hours here. On the Schedule tab, we can see that day as a sick day, as well as the rest of the employee's schedule. If we click on a day, we can see the shift they are scheduled to work. Assigning a shift will let you see things like if an employee is coming in late or leaving early. We can also see all the transactions for the employee's work time, and see if a user manipulated the time. That's it for the primary attendance screen of the AMG attendance system. Another useful feature of AMG is the status board, which lets you see what your employees are currently doing. You can look for specific groups of employees and you can pull your devices to get your current data. Then you can see if your employees are out, absent, working, on lunch or break, and if they've hit overtime. You can also see which department or job they are currently in. You can see their last punch and how close they are to hitting daily or weekly overtime. The system also lets you run reports for various things. We have over 30 reports included in the software. If you select a report, you will see some settings and a preview on the right side. You can choose different options, like for the time card report, I can print each employee on a new page. Then I can group the employees together by their group. You can choose the employees to include in the report, either whole groups or one by one. Then you can select the date range, either a pay period or any date range you want. You can sort the report by employee's code or name. Then specifically for this time card report, we can have a paragraph print at the bottom. We have a default one here saying that the employee agrees to their time card hours, and a signature line for the employee and supervisor. Click Generate and it will create the report for you. A new window opens, showing us the report. We have the time card here for Raymond, showing us all his hours for this time period, with totals at the bottom, and that paragraph and signature lines. In the upper left, we can print the report or export it and save a file on the computer. You can save the report as a PDF, CSV, Excel, or Word document. We also have over 100 payroll exports that function like reports, but they are formatted to be imported directly into different payroll software. If we select one, you select the employees to run the payroll for, then the time period, then generate, and it will have the file type necessary. You can just save it to your computer, then import it into your payroll system. In the AMG Attendance System, under the Definitions tab, you can configure different parts of the software. Under Organization, you can set up different levels to organize your employees by. You have headquarters, divisions, and groups. Optionally, with the Job and Department module, you can also add jobs and departments. If we select divisions, for example, we can see some different divisions and, of course, add, edit, or delete them. Another important section is the pay policies. You can set up multiple pay policies for different groups of employees. Here we can set up the pay period, and if we change this, we can see the current pay period change. We can also change the option for holidays if we are going to pay them. We can set a minimum number of days, they say 30 days of employment, before an employee is eligible. We can also choose how they get paid if they work on a holiday and some other options here. Then we can set the overtime rules. You can set your multipliers, typically just time and a half and double time. Then you can enable weekly or daily overtime. You can also configure your holidays, so you can select which days will be designated holidays, and based on the pay policy settings, will automatically add something like 8 hours for employees. You can choose from a list of common US holidays or add your own manually. Under shifts, you can set up different rounding rules to allow you to round employees' ins and outs, lunches, and breaks. Then you can configure the shifts. You can group different shifts together. Then inside the shift, you can set the start and stop time and add breaks and lunches. You can also set whether employees have to clock in and out for lunch or if lunch is automatically deducted. For adding employees, we can send you an import template so you can fill out a spreadsheet to import them. Or you can manually add and edit employees from the Definitions Employees tab. You've got a code and a badge number for employees. You can select the division, group, and headquarters they belong to. If an employee is let go for any reason, you can just add a new status for them as inactive instead of deleting them from the system. That way their historical data stays. And inactive employees won't count towards your employee total. There are other fields for employees. You can attach files, set their schedule, add benefit hours for things like sick and vacation, and set their wage. You can also optionally add their ACA coverage for 1094 and 1095C form. Under the Accesses tab, if you have the Employee Login module, you can give the employee access to view their time card, schedule, benefits, make time off requests, and several other things. You can also allow them to punch in on the AMGtime app on their Android or iOS device, and have them take a photo or geofence them to a specific area to be able to clock in. Any AMG time clock device can be connected to the software, so your employees can clock in using biometrics. Under Devices, Configure Devices, you can add your devices. Under Badges, you can manage the finger, face, or hand templates on each device one by one. Badge Repository is an extra feature that lets you add an employee's template to any device you have, just by checking it off and synchronizing. Under Tools, you can use bulk transactions, which lets you make transactions for multiple employees at once. You can check them off on the left, then create the transaction on the right. You can also add miscellaneous entries, say for a holiday, modify the schedule, or change the status of the employees, say if you have seasonal workers. The Import tool lets you import new employees or schedules. The Auto Process tool lets you set a schedule to automatically pull your time clocks, create backups of the software, create reports, and payroll. The Users tab lets you configure other users for the software. You can give them a username and password, then choose for every screen in the software if they have access to view, add, edit, or delete. You can also give them access to only see specific groups of employees. The Help menu in AMG opens a new window to let you search through articles. You can also press the F1 key on your keyboard from any screen in the software to see an article about that section. The software is updated about once a month, and if you have an active support agreement, you can update it to get the latest features. That is everything for the desktop version of the AMG software.